Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Gut Check. Thanks for checking out my latest video. I really appreciate all the support I'm getting as I'm growing this project and figuring out what I'm doing. So if you're here right now, it means a lot to me. Let's get into today's topic. So today I'm going to talk about doshas in mental health. Specifically, what I wanted to do was talk about how learning about doshas and incorporating that knowledge into my self-care routines has really affected my mental health and made me a lot happier of a person. So I first learned about doshas at this yoga retreat I went to in the summer. There I went to a presentation about doshas. I also made a really close friend who knew a lot about them. Before I go any further with this, I want you to know that I'm someone who comes from the Western educational system. I grew up in an Ivy League town. I'm only less than a year out of finishing my undergrad at a Western university. I'm also someone who's worked as a researcher before, and I'm working as one now. So I understand skepticism when it comes to alternative medicine. And I even get when people want to write off any sort of alternative medicine in general. And on that note, I want to be really credible with what I'm talking about. I'm not someone who's trained at all in Ayurvedic medicine. I'm someone who has incorporated knowledge of Ayurvedic medicine into my lifestyle, and it's affected my lived experience with dealing with mental health problems. And furthermore, to add more credibility, I wanted to present you information about Ayurvedic medicine from a peer-reviewed source. For this video, I did some research. I looked at a few different articles about Ayurveda. I wanted to share a few highlights from one of the articles I read, specifically because the author of this, he's someone who's trained as a theoretical physicist and someone who did his training at MIT, Cambridge, and who has worked at Stanford. All of those, as most of you probably know, are very credible Western educational institutions, and I thought it was really interesting, especially since he's a physicist, that he would have something to say about Ayurvedic medicine. So this is the article this guy wrote. His name's Alex Hankey. First of all, just to define Ayurveda, which is the system that doshas come from. Ayurveda is well known as the Vedic system of healthcare of India, practiced effectively for thousands of years by millions of people. So yeah, it's something that was originally practiced in India. It's arguably one of the world's oldest forms of medicine, as I understand it. Just another thing to frame this guy's understanding and where he's coming from with Ayurvedic medicine. He says that most Western biomedical explanatory models of the body are framed in terms of biochemistry rather than physics. In contrast, most traditional medical systems such as Ayurveda begin with energy for their theory of biological processes, so that in essence they begin with physics and move on to explaining biochemical and biologic levels on that basis. This may explain the misunderstanding and often dismissal of such models found in modern Western medicine. So I wanted to share that highlight because I think it shows where this guy's coming from as a physicist. He's looking at these different energy states and looking at what they mean. And later on in the article, he does talk about the different doshas and their biomedical background. I wanted to highlight this part of the article. So he says that Ayurveda states that the human body is governed by three doshas that play the role of regulatory factors governing the internal processes by which it functions and is maintained. The three doshas also govern more external processes through which they interact with the outside world. They are given the names Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Each dosha is supplemented by 5 sub-doshas regulating specific processes in different parts of the body. I'm going to post a link to this PDF, so if you're curious, you can learn more about doshas. For the purposes of this video, I'm just sharing my personal experience with this knowledge, and again, how I've implemented it into my lifestyle. So I took a quiz about understanding my body's makeup and my different doshas. In some cases, people can have equal levels of all three of them, and they're called tridoshic individuals. My mom is one, for example. I took one of the quizzes online through Deepak Chopra's website. You've probably heard of this guy. He's a very well-known alternative medicine advocate. After I took the quiz, I learned that I'm about 80% dominant in the Kapha dosha. And this is what the quiz had to say about my dosha. It said the Kapha dosha is predominant in your basic nature, giving you a deep sense of stability and inner calm. Your body will tend to be heavy-set and strong, and you will enjoy excellent stamina and energy. When kapha becomes imbalanced, however, it can manifest in your body as excess weight gain, fluid retention, and allergies. On the level of the mind, excess kapha can lead to resistance to change and stubbornness. If you have a kapha imbalance, you will tend to hold on to things, jobs, habits, and relationships long after they are no longer nourishing or necessary. To lighten the heaviness of kapha, be sure to get regular physical exercise, eat light, spicy foods, and give away things you have been accumulating that you know you'll never use. So after I took this quiz, I was really floored because I thought it was extremely accurate. It's explaining a lot about my nature that I had no other model to really explain before. I've tended to be a pretty heavy-set and strong individual throughout my life. When my mental health is good, especially, I do have excellent stamina and energy. But here's where the mental illness comes into it. When kapha becomes imbalanced, which I believe is what happened to me when I suffered from my mental illness, I totally got a lot of excess weight gain. I'm someone who deals with seasonal allergies routinely, especially in the winter. And this is the first winter where, having understood my dosha, I'd say my allergies are substantially less troublesome for me. Also, as far as change and stubbornness, once I commit to something, I can totally have trouble with adapting to my plan as obstacles come along the way and make me have to reconsider what I'm doing. Totally, when I am at points in my life where I can get regular physical exercise, I'm also definitely the best and the happiest. I'm a total spicy food guy. All these things, again, really are key to my nature. When I moved into my new apartment, I made sure to design it so that I didn't have a lot of things around the house that I wouldn't be using and hoarding. I'm someone all throughout college that totally was like this. I would hold on to a tons of things I didn't need, old course books, notebooks, clothes, what have you. I'm also someone who's never been a routinely clean person before. I do my best to keep this place looking clean, which also plays into not leaving things around that you don't need. And I've totally noticed when this place does get messier, it definitely affects my mental energy. And I frame that understanding by understanding the kapha system. Also, there are usually colors associated with your doshas. As I understand it, with the kapha dosha, colors like red, yellow, and orange are very associated with that dosha type. For that reason, I decided to get a red couch. My curtains are more velvety, but again, it's kind of in that family. You may notice I'm wearing a red shirt right now, and I do all that because I know I'm a kaphic individual. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. I'd be really curious to hear if anybody else out there has done this sort of thing and implements what they know about their doshas into their mental health routine. Thanks again for watching. If you like what I'm doing and want to keep updated, feel free to subscribe. That's all I have to say for today. I'll talk to you on Wednesday.